Have you ever felt lost in a storm of confusion, wondering why someone you trusted has turned against you? Have you found yourself questioning your reality, doubting your own discernment, and feeling trapped in a cycle of emotional turmoil? You are not alone. Many of us have encountered people who wear a mask of innocence, who present themselves as the victim while secretly manipulating others. They twist the truth, sow seeds of doubt, and leave destruction in their wake. And if you've been caught in their web, it can feel like you're walking through darkness with no way out. But here's the life-changing truth. God sees everything. He is not indifferent. He is not silent. He is moving right now, even if you can't see it yet. Imagine this. You've been wandering through a dark room for years. The shadows distort reality, making it impossible to distinguish what is true and what is deception. You second-guess yourself, unsure of what to believe, but then a beam of divine light pierces through the darkness. The lies that once seemed so convincing are now exposed for what they truly are. The veil has been lifted, for there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought into the open. Luke 8:17. God's truth is relentless. He does not allow deception to stand forever. What has been whispered in the shadows will be proclaimed in the light. What has been carefully hidden will be revealed. And when he moves, no lie can withstand the power of his justice. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "The hardness of God is kinder than the softness of men, and his compulsion is our liberation." This means that God's intervention, though sometimes painful, is ultimately an act of divine love. He is not exposing deception to shame you or leave you in despair. He is rescuing you. He is setting you free. Right now, in this very moment, God is at work in your life. He is shattering illusions. He is unveiling the truth. He is lifting the weight of confusion from your heart. Do you believe this? If you trust that God is revealing the truth in your life, declare it in the comments. God is revealing the truth in my life. Let this be your declaration of faith. Now, let's dive deeper and uncover 5 powerful ways God is moving on your behalf, exposing deception, bringing justice, shielding you from harm, and restoring everything that was taken from you. Stay with me. What you're about to discover could change your life. Have you ever trusted someone only to later discover they were not who you thought they were? When God moves, deception cannot stand. The truth will always come to light. Deception is the narcissist's greatest weapon. They craft intricate illusions, carefully curating a false image of themselves. They manipulate emotions, twist facts, and expertly weave a narrative that makes them appear as the victim while subtly turning others against you. At first, their deception is nearly impossible to see. Their words are convincing, their tears seem genuine, and their stories appear to hold weight. They thrive in secrecy, operating in the shadows where manipulation is most effective. But what they fail to realize is that no lie can withstand the piercing light of God's truth. When God steps in, everything changes. Imagine a stage where a skilled actor performs flawlessly, deceiving the entire audience with their portrayal of an innocent, wounded soul. But suddenly the spotlight shifts, revealing the wires, the props, and the script hidden behind the scenes. The illusion shatters. The truth is undeniable. This is what happens when God exposes deception. Jesus himself declared this truth in Luke 8:17, "For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open." God's truth is relentless. It is not passive, nor does it work on, human timetables. It moves with divine precision, cutting through the carefully constructed lies of the narcissist. What was whispered in the dark is now proclaimed in the light. When God begins to pull back the veil, the process often starts subtly. You start seeing patterns you previously ignored. Their words no longer hold the same power over you. You experience moments of sudden clarity. Things that once confused you now make perfect sense. People around you begin to notice inconsistencies in the narcissist's story. Situations arise where their manipulation is revealed, sometimes even publicly. At first, this revelation may feel overwhelming. You might ask yourself, how did I not see this sooner? How could I have trusted them for so long? C.S. Lewis once said, "Pain insists upon being attended to. God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our consciences, but shouts in our pains. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world." The exposure of deception can be painful, but it is a sign of God's love and divine protection. He is not revealing the truth to harm you, but to free you. Just like a loving parent removes a child from a harmful situation, even if the child does not yet understand why, God is breaking you free from the bondage of lies. It is never easy to face the truth about someone you once trusted. When the illusion crumbles, it can leave you feeling betrayed, disoriented, and even heartbroken. But the truth, no matter how painful, is always the beginning of your healing. John 8:32 reminds us, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Freedom is found not in denial, but in embracing the truth. The truth breaks every false narrative. The truth restores your discernment. The truth pulls you out of the fog of manipulation and sets you on solid ground. And once God has revealed the truth, you will never see things the same way again. You will walk in greater wisdom, strength, and spiritual clarity. The very things that once controlled you will lose their power. Have you ever experienced a moment where God suddenly revealed the truth to you? Was there a time when you finally saw through someone's deception, even though you didn't see it before? If so, share your experience in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Next, we will explore how God not only exposes lies, but also silences the voices of manipulation. Stay with me. This is just the beginning of your breakthrough. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by lies, as if no matter what you said, the false narratives only grew stronger? Narcissists are masters of deception, manipulating words to turn others against you while portraying themselves as victims. Their words can leave you doubting yourself, questioning reality, and struggling to defend the truth. But deception has an expiration date. God does not let lies reign forever. The voices that seek to confuse and control will not last, because when God moves, he silences every falsehood. Psalm 63:11 declares, "The mouths of liars will be silenced." This is not just a hopeful thought, it is a divine reality. No matter how powerful a lie may seem, it will never withstand the truth of God. First, God brings truth speakers into your life. One of the most painful parts of being deceived is feeling alone, as if no one sees the truth. Narcissists isolate their victims, making them believe that no one would believe them if they spoke up. But God raises up voices of truth. He brings people, friends, mentors, or even unexpected allies who see through the deception and confirm what you have known all along. These people become your lifeline, a reminder that you are not alone and that truth does not need to be defended. It only needs to be revealed. And as more people recognize the deception, the narcissist's words begin to lose their power. Second, God gives you peace, removing your need to fight every battle. Manipulators thrive on keeping you in constant defense mode. They want you to explain, justify, and exhaust yourself trying to prove your innocence. But when God moves, he silences the noise inside your heart. Instead of striving to correct every lie, he fills you with peace, whispering, "Be still, I am fighting for you." Suddenly, The desperate need to defend yourself fades because you know the truth will speak for itself. This is where real victory begins. When you stop engaging in the toxic cycle, the enemy loses their grip. The deception they once used as a weapon becomes powerless without your reaction. Finally, God allows the lies to unravel on their own. Truth stands on its own, but deception is fragile. It must constantly be adjusted, reinforced, and covered up. Over time, contradictions appear. The once convincing falsehoods start to collapse under their own weight. Without your energy fueling the drama, the narcissist's carefully crafted story begins to crumble. People start noticing inconsistencies, the manipulation becomes evident, and the charm that once captivated others starts to fade. And just like that, the voice that once dominated the narrative fades into irrelevance. If you've been caught in a web of deceit, take heart. God is fighting for you. You don't need to prove yourself to people who are determined to misunderstand you. You don't have to exhaust yourself trying to correct every false accusation. God Himself will silence every deceptive voice. Do you trust Him to do that? If you believe God is protecting you from deception, declare it now. Like this message as a stand of faith and share it with someone who needs encouragement. And stay with me, because next we will see how God not only silences deception but brings divine justice to those who seek to harm you. Have you ever looked at the world and wondered why those who do wrong seem to go unpunished? Have you ever felt frustrated watching someone who has caused harm continue to thrive while you are left dealing with the consequences of their actions? It may seem, for a time, that narcissists and manipulators escape justice. They lie, deceive, and cause destruction, yet they appear to walk away untouched. But what they fail to realize is that God is not blind, He is not indifferent, and He is certainly not inactive. God is the God of justice, and nothing escapes His sight. The Bible makes this clear in Galatians 6:7. Do not be deceived, God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. This is a spiritual law that no one can bypass. Though human justice systems may fail, though people may be fooled, God is never deceived. When He moves, no one can escape His perfect judgment. How does God ensure that no injustice goes unanswered? First, God brings the truth to light. For a season, deception may flourish, lies may spread, and the manipulator may succeed in turning others against you. But God's truth is relentless. He is not a passive observer. He is actively working to expose every falsehood. When the time is right, God unveils what has been hidden. The lies that once seemed airtight begin to unravel. The people who once believed the narcissist start to see the inconsistencies. The carefully crafted image they built begins to crack. There is no deception that can withstand the light of God's truth. What was done in secret will be made known. Those who used lies to manipulate will be exposed, and their words will no longer hold power over you. Second, God ensures that they reap what they have sown. Narcissists believe they can escape consequences. They believe that their charisma, influence, or deception will shield them from accountability. But God cannot be mocked. The very tactics they use to harm others will turn against them. If they sow division, their own relationships will be broken. If they build their lives on lies, their foundation will crumble. If they manipulate others for gain, they will find themselves isolated when the truth is revealed. It may not happen in the way or the timing you expect, but God's justice is always perfect. He allows people to walk in their own choices, and eventually those choices lead to destruction. C.S. Lewis put it this way: when a man is getting better, he understands more and more clearly the evil that is still left in him. When a man is getting worse, he understands his own badness less and less. This is the fate of those who refuse to repent. They become blind to their own downfall, and by the time they realize the damage they have caused, it is too late to undo it. Waiting for God's justice can be difficult. You may want to see immediate consequences. You may want to confront them to force the truth into the open, but God asks you to trust Him. His justice is not just about punishment, it is also about protecting and restoring you. God's justice does not just remove the narcissist's influence, it restores everything they tried to take from you. Your peace, your dignity, your sense of worth. Everything that was stolen, God returns in full measure. Exodus 14:14 reminds us, "The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still." This does not mean that you remain passive, it means you release the burden of revenge. It means you trust that God sees everything and He will act on your behalf. If you believe that God's justice will prevail, declare it now. Share your testimony below. Justice belongs to God. Let this be your stand of faith, a declaration that you trust His timing, His wisdom, and His power. And stay with me, because next we will see how God not only brings justice but protects and rebuilds everything that was broken. Now I will reveal to you the secret. God protects and restores you. Have you ever wondered if healing is possible after so much pain? Have you ever felt so broken by betrayal and manipulation that you questioned whether you could ever be whole again? Here's the truth. God does not just rescue you from the enemy. He restores you beyond what you ever imagined. He does not only shield you from harm, He also rebuilds what was destroyed, replacing your pain with joy, your loss with abundance, and your wounds with divine healing. Joel 2:25 declares, "I will restore to you the years that the locusts have eaten." This is not just a promise, it is a divine assurance that God is not only bringing you out of your suffering, He is leading you into something greater. Many times, when we endure trials, especially at the hands of manipulative and deceitful people, we just want relief. We pray, "God, please take me out of this situation." But God's plan is always bigger than just escape. When He delivers, He also transforms. He does not just pull you out of the fire, He refines you in it so that when you emerge, you are stronger, wiser, and more radiant in His glory than before. C.S. Lewis put it this way, "God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pains." It is His megaphone to rouse a deaf world. Your pain was not wasted. God is using it as a foundation for something greater. What will be restored? When God restores, it is always in fullness and abundance. You are not merely put back together, you are made new. Here are just a few ways in which God restores what was lost. 1. Your self-worth. Manipulation and emotional abuse often leave deep wounds in your identity. The enemy wants you to believe you are weak, unworthy, and beyond repair. But God rewrites that story. He reminds you that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, chosen and deeply loved, stronger than you thought possible. No longer will you define yourself by what happened to you. God defines you by His truth, not by the lies of those who tried to break you. 2. Healthy relationships. Toxic relationships may have left you drained, doubting whether you could ever trust again. But God is the master of divine connections. He removes the wrong people and brings the right ones, those who will uplift, support, and love you in truth. What was once a place of loneliness will now become a space of community and encouragement. 3. Joy and peace. Perhaps the greatest gift of God's restoration is true, unshakable peace. No longer will you live in constant anxiety, waiting for the next attack, the next betrayal, the next moment of manipulation. Instead, you will walk in God's perfect peace, one that surpasses all understanding. The joy that once seemed impossible will become your reality. God's restoration is greater than you expect. One of the most beautiful things about God's restoration is that he always gives more than what was taken. When Job lost everything, God did not just restore it, he doubled it. When Joseph was betrayed, abandoned, and imprisoned, God did not just deliver him, he elevated him to a position of great influence and authority. This is the nature of God. He is not a God of just enough. He is a God of overflowing abundance. When he restores, he does so in a way that leaves no doubt he is the one who has done it. If you believe that God is restoring everything that was taken from you, take a stand today. Share this message so that others who are in the midst of their battle will know that their healing is coming. And stay with me, because next we will see how God does not just restore, but elevates you to a new purpose far beyond what you ever imagined. The trials you face are not meant to destroy you, they are part of a greater plan. It may not feel that way in the moment. Pain, betrayal, and loss often seem like setbacks, as if they are stripping away what you once believed was secure. But here is a powerful truth. Nothing is wasted in God's hands. And Romans 8:28 reminds us, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. This means that even the hardships, even the moments of despair, are being woven into something greater. God is not just restoring what was lost, he is using it to prepare you for a purpose beyond what you ever imagined. God uses your pain to elevate you. When you emerge from the fire, you do not come out the same. You come out stronger, you come out refined. The suffering you endured was not meaningless, it was a process of transformation. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "Hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny." God is not just bringing you out of the storm, he is calling you higher. When God elevates you, three things happen. First, you gain new strength. Pain has a way of breaking us down, but when we trust in God, it becomes the very thing that builds us up. The weight that once felt unbearable becomes the very resistance that makes you spiritually stronger. The endurance you gained in the struggle prepares you for the next level. What once overwhelmed you will no longer shake you. What once drained you will no longer have power over you. Second, you gain deeper understanding. When deception is exposed, you do not just walk away with clarity, you walk away with wisdom. You now recognize patterns you once ignored. You can discern truth from manipulation. What once confused you is now crystal clear. And with this understanding comes a new level of confidence. You will no longer be easily misled. You will not second-guess yourself the way you once did. God has sharpened your discernment, and this wisdom will protect you and others in the future. Finally, you are positioned to help others. The pain you endured was not just for you. It was also for those who will come after you. Your story is not just one of survival. It is one of transformation. Now, you have something to offer. There are people who are still trapped in the same deception you once lived through, people who are questioning their worth, their sanity, and even their faith. But because you have walked through the fire and come out stronger, you can now be a light for them. God does not just elevate you for your own sake. He does it so you can lead others into freedom. If you are still in the process of healing, do not be discouraged. God is not done with you yet. What feels like the end is actually the beginning of something greater. Every tear, every prayer, every moment of endurance has been preparing you. And now God is lifting you up. Will you embrace this new chapter? Will you trust that God is turning everything meant for harm into something good? If you believe that God is elevating you into a new season, take a step of faith today. Declare it. Step boldly into the purpose he has for you. And remember, your best days are not behind you. They are just beginning. Look back for a moment. Can you see it now? Can you see how, even in the darkest moments, God was moving? Can you see how the pain that once seemed unbearable was actually shaping you, refining you, preparing you for something greater? This journey has not been easy. You have endured deception, manipulation, and brokenness. You have walked through confusion, doubt, and even despair. But God never left you. Even when it felt like you were fighting alone, He was there, exposing lies, silencing deception, executing justice, restoring what was lost, and lifting you into a purpose greater than you ever imagined. And He is still working. Romans 8:28 assures us, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Not some things, not just the easy things. All things. That means your pain, your trials, your battles, all of it is being woven into something good, something purposeful, something eternal. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "There are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind." This is the truth we hold on to, no matter what has been stolen, no matter how deep the wounds. God is not only healing you, He is preparing you for something even greater. So today, make a declaration of faith. If you believe that God is working in your life, restoring what was lost and leading you into a new season, then proclaim it boldly. Let us know in the comments, God is restoring me. Let this be your testimony. Let this be your moment of faith. And don't keep this message to yourself. There are others who are still in the battle, still searching for truth, still longing for justice. Share this with them. Speak life over them. Be the voice of encouragement they need today. Together, let's spread the truth of God. Let's remind the world that He is faithful, He is just, and He is still working. Your story is not over. It is just beginning.